Hi everyone, welcome to Happy Llama's Crochet. I'm Patty, and today I want to talk to you about being a left-handed crocheter. So most of the time it's pretty simple, especially when you're making just squares or an afghan. But when you do amigurumi like I do, there's an amigurumi bunny up here, and here's the walrus that I made. It can be a challenge at times. You could just be going along doing your crochet, and all of a sudden things aren't working out because you're left-handed, and most people don't write patterns for lefties. So I ran into this recently because I'm currently working on, if you can turn around, guess, these are the front legs and the back legs for my Bailey puppy, which I talked about, I think, in the very last video. This is a pattern that I found on Etsy, and it is a red poodle dog crochet pattern by ambercraftstore.etsy.com. This is what my Bailey looked like when she was a puppy, except for her front paw was white. So that is why this one is white. But the issue I had, the issue that I had was after I made the paw, and then you go around to this next area, you stitch it together. There's 9 stitches across here. And then when I attached the brown, it told me to go into the work in the back loop of the stitch, and then to work in the front loop, because what you want to do is just basically make a circle where you can continue on to make the rest of the leg. Now this one's, I only stuffed a little bit of him. But so what I have found, it didn't work out, and I ended up going the wrong way to continue on, not because I did it wrong, but because the pattern was written for a right-handed person, which is fine, that's fine. But it's just that we have to, like in a lot of things being a lefty, we have to figure out either how to do it right-handed, and I have a left-handed daughter, but she crochets right-handed. She doesn't crochet left-handed, so she doesn't run into this. But she had a hard time, or I should say, she didn't have a hard time teaching me. I had a hard time learning when I first started. I mean, I've done this for many, many, many years, way before I ever had a daughter. But I didn't try to do things like this. I just did squares and blankets and that sort of thing. But when I got into making socks and things like that, and now amigurumi, which she doesn't do. But anyway, I have found this problem. So what I had to do was, rather than, I frogged it all out, ripped it out, and I did the opposite. I did the front loop first for the first 9 stitches, and then I went into the back loop for the rest to finish up my circle. And then, as you can see, I just continued on. And I had to do the same thing with this one, even though his little paw is, or heart's gonna be her little paw is all brown, but this is made like this so it can fold, as you can see in the picture the little paw sitting down and it's folded. Now another issue that I found, it wasn't with the pattern, it was with the yarn that I chose. I want it to be all fluffy just like she is, and this is the yarn that was recommended in the pattern, and it recommended to use a little bitty tiny hook. Well, I ended up using an F hook, but I tried and I tried to crochet with this yarn. The yarn company says this is a Jumbo 7 and the hook should be a 15 millimeter. Well, I didn't want to use a 15 millimeter because I don't want this puppy to be gigantic. And I had tried using a bulkier yarn before, and the leg came out almost 2.5 times larger than this. And let's see if you, I don't know if I can do this without making you, but you can see it'll be sitting down like this, and the leg was like 2.5 times bigger and about 2.5 times taller. Well, I don't want it to be that big. So I'm using the F hook, and then what I decided I'm gonna try, I hope it'll work, is because I made a dragon before and I wanted hair in him, but I didn't crochet him with hair. But what I did was I took the hair yarn, which I guess it was called eyelet yarn. I guess some people would consider this the same thing. And after I made my stitches, I wove it. I just took it and I wove it in and out between, let's see if I just wove it in and out between the rows. I know I'm not hitting the rows right because I'm not looking at it, but, and then I had all that hair. But, so I'm gonna do that to make her all fuzzy. I only need a little bit of this white because the only white part on the whole thing is just gonna be this paw. But I think while I'm on here with you all, I'm gonna see if this is gonna work. Hopefully it will. And if any of you have any suggestions on how to do that, work with this, I went online and I read things. I looked at YouTube videos and it just wasn't working out for me. Excuse me. The pattern calls to start with, as most amigurumi things do, calls to make a magic circle. Well, I couldn't even get the magic circle made because I couldn't see where to put my hook. So that's when I gave up and I went back to a worsted yarn to do this. But now I'm gonna see if I can't, I'm gonna work on one of these. This is one of the back paws, so I'm gonna use the brown yarn and see if what I'm thinking, I need a needle. Yeah, I'm gonna thread this through a needle to get one out of here. I use a light one so that I can see it. I'm just gonna cut a strand off. Let me see. And I'm gonna see if this is gonna work. So, and if this works, then I will be able to do a lot more of the fuzzy amigurumi, which I enjoy. I think they're so cute. Okay. Well, I'm stuck on my needle already, one of the yarns. Okay. Now I think I'm gonna start from the bottom and work up. And I'm just going to, and I think I'll only have to do this on one side since the paw's going to be, I think the paw's going to be sitting like this. So it'll be like a regular pad and won't have anything on there. So I think I'm just going to start. I need to go this way. I'm going to weave this through. Well, it seems to pull through easily. I'm going to leave a tail on here so I can tie it off. And we're going to see how well this is going to work. I know I probably shouldn't experiment while I'm on camera, but you know what? We're all in this together, right? Okay. Now it's weaving through, but what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to go back through and pull out the fuzz so that it will look fuzzy. Okay, I'm up at the top. And I'm just going to go through here. And that's going to take a little time to do. But as you can see, I think it's going to work. So let me go back down the other direction. I'm just going to zigzag in and out. See if I can show you what I'm doing. Let's see. I'm just going like over and under, over and under. And get back down to where I started, which is right here. All right. And just, so I don't know if those of you who make the fuzzy amigurumis, if you do it this way, if you are better at crocheting than I am and can work with this type of yarn. I even tried, if you'll see, it has this, let's see, where's the camera? Right here where it has the stitching. I tried working up close next to that, of course, and I just couldn't get it. So I always say there's more than one way to do things, but that is now this is where I started, and this is my end that I'm working from. That's where I started. But I think that is going to work out just perfectly. So that's a suggestion for you all if you have problems like I do with doing this. And so this background, that will be like the dog's skin, and this will be like the fuzzy hair growing out. So I am glad that I tried that. I'm glad that I could share it with you. If you have any suggestions on how to work with this type of yarn without having to use a giant hook, a 15mm hook, share it in the comments below. So I'm going to set this aside because I'm not ready to do this yet. I was thinking what I would do is that I would, I can't decide if I want to do each piece by itself and then stitch it together, because what I'm afraid of is that and this is the part that I'll be stitching onto the body. I'm afraid that's going to leave a little plain area, an area where I haven't attached the fur, but I guess I could always go back in and weave it in that direction if that is what happens. So, but the next thing that I'm going to be making with this pattern is the tail, and of course it starts out with a I got lucky, I was able to pull the yarn out of the end. It calls for a magic circle, like so many of them do. Actually, I don't know if I have come across an amigurumi pattern yet that hasn't called for a magic circle to start. I know that you can do it by chaining and then working in the round, but I haven't tried that for the amigurumi yet. See, this calls for 6. There's 2, 3, 4, whoops, 5, and 6. All right, I'll pull my stitch. I don't pull it all the way together when I do it. I don't close up my circle completely, because I found it's easier when I go back and start working in these single crochets that I just made. It's easier to find it and to get started. Now I'm going to need a stitch marker for this, and I also have my counter, my row counter. So I'm going to go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and I'm going to do 2 single crochets into this one stitch for a total of 12. I like this pattern. It's very easy to understand. I think the instructions are well written. Other than that, so far, the only thing I have found is that just one little glitch if you are a left-handed person. So, trying to find out where I went into here. Whoops. Okay, there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. My stitches are a little tight this morning. There's 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and 11, 12. So what I do, now that I've got the first row, according to her pattern, that's the second row, then I finish tightening up my magic circle. Oh, I'm looking at the leg. I need to look at the directions for the tail. The leg, I do want to say this about the pattern. The legs went quickly because she called for half double crochets. So once you get your circle, which was 18 stitches, she called for half double crochets. So it looks long, but it went really quickly. And so now I'm just going to be working in the round on the tail. I still use a marker for each one, and I'm going to be doing half double crochets on here. I don't know how many of you out there are doing amigurumi, but I enjoy it. It's if you haven't done it, if you're all at least interested, and even if you're not, don't think you will be, give it a try, because you just might fall in love with it. I don't have the best lighting here in my corner any longer, because I took the glass out of one of my French doors that go to the back, to my backyard, and I'm putting I put in a piece of wood, and I ordered a doggy door, and I'm going to be putting that in there. And so of course, having the wood on there and having it not painted, it makes it a little bit dark over here, but I think once we get the door in and the light's coming back in. I did have one of those, I don't know what you call them, I'm calling it a Hollywood light. I had one of those, didn't have it for very long, and it burnt out, so I had ordered it off of Amazon. So I think I'm gonna order one from a different company. I don't know what company it was from, so I can't give you that information. And I don't want to say anything bad about anything anyway. If I find one that's good, then of course I'll share that information with you. Or if any of you have any that you could recommend to me, I would appreciate it. Okay, now we're at row 3 already. The way she does this round 1 is her magic ring and starting the single crochets in that, and then round 2 is the starting to build the sides up. So by the time you get those first 2 rows done, you already feel like you've gotten somewhere. Well, I should say by the time you get to the 3rd row, you feel like you've already accomplished something. So I really do. This is a good pattern. I really enjoy it. I've got a pattern after I do this one. I have so many amigurumis that I want to make. They're just so cute, and people are always coming out with things and new patterns. And I have a cousin who sends me pictures all the time of different amigurumi critters and stuff that are just so cute. But I purchased a pattern off of Etsy, and it was it's for a dash hound. or Dachshund, however you pronounce it. Some people call them wiener dogs. But it's for Snuggly. So it has the full stuffed head, and then the body's not stuffed. And it is the cutest thing ever. Of course, I say that about all of them. This one here is going to be near and dear to my heart because, of course, it's a puppy Bailey. And I may just, even though I didn't have our Labradoodle, Gracie, when she was a puppy, she's all black. So I'm probably just going to have to make one of her as well. Then I'll have the pair. So, and then I started thinking about my other dog I had. She was a Maltese. She was a Morkie, a Maltese, and a Terrier. And she got sick. We had to have her put down. And I was thinking, well, she was all white. I have all this white. So maybe I could make a copy of her as well. And that's what I want to get into doing, is to not only to do different animals, but I shared with you the cat that I did. The cat's still alive, but I had to order for a cat, and I made it off of the photographs that they sent me, and they were real pleased with this. I was happy about that, and I hear that the little girl I made it for sleeps with it every night, so that made me feel good to know that I was able to make her happy. But I want to get to where people can send me pictures of their pets, and that I can make a replica of them for them. Whether they're still alive or deceased, and they want it as a memory. I know that there is a company out there that does do that. It's not Crochet. I don't know what they make the animals out of, but I've seen that. But I've seen that online. But I won't be doing that, of course. I would just be doing it by Crochet. And so, of course, the short-haired animals, that will be easy to do. But now that I know that I could do the longer hair like this, I don't know if they have longer hair than this to make. I know that when I did the dragon and I put the hair on his head, it was only about, I don't know, half as long as this. This is an inch. It was probably only half an inch, and it was really cute. It was real bright green because the dragon was green. I've already lost count. Let's see. I think I forgot to click it when I went around and started this row. So when I get towards the end, I'll do a count, make sure I have it all correct. Of course, it's only the tail. I don't have to match it up to any other body part. So if I'm one row off, I don't think it's gonna matter any, honestly. All right, that was row 5. Okay. But I don't know if there's any yarn that is longer than that. I could always do loops, which of course that would take a lot of time. But like there's this dog named Brody. I think he's a golden doodle. but he's got more of the straight hair, more of the golden hair, and he's all over YouTube and Instagram, all the social media outlets, and to do a replica of him in crochet, I think that'd be quite fun, quite interesting to do. Be a lot of work. I would like to do, I know it sounds crazy, but I would like to do a real life baby giraffe. But my grandson informed me that they're 6 foot tall. Of course, I'd want him to be sitting down, but still, that'd be some long legs. But I may tackle that one of these days. So anyway, I think we're at over 30 minutes already that I have been rambling. As you can see, I did that so quickly. This is what I've done while we've been sitting here talking, and I'm not a fast crocheter. If you're at all interested in doing this doodle, I would go on in, she calls it a poodle dog, but of course the doodle's part poodle, so my golden doodle is 70% part poodle and 25%
poodle and 25%
anyway,
gold retriever.
This tells you what you're going to need. But I recommend this. Again, it is American Craft Store. No, wait. Hope I didn't say American before. ambercraftstore.etsy.com, and you could go on and get this. One thing I have found though that I had, let me make sure if I'm talking about, yeah, she has some links on here to some YouTube pages in case you need help with anything, and for certain parts of the body, and I found that they were no longer working, so I don't know what's up with that. But if anyone has any questions, you can always ask me, since I'm making it, and we'll muddle through it together. Anyway, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share this with your friends, and have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon.